Hello all, and welcome back to the next video here on the Onion Man's Rooftop Two-Headed Cow Caravan of Treasure. Sometimes barter. The streak continues, as always. Uh, and this is the next episode, of a game show. What kind of show? A game show. Simple. Effective. Mainly I couldn't come up with a more creative title. Anyways, yeah, so, new kind of little series here. A couple of videos ago, I did the first couple of versions of this, and at the time, I didn't really have a name, I don't think. But we got the game show now, or a game show, where I was getting asked about a lot of the video games I play. I noticed a few people had kind of seen my shelf back here. I also have another one over here, and then I have some cabinets behind me that are full of a lot of games. And I'm not done collecting games in my life. I'm not piecing together entire collections, but there's a lot of games I've always wanted that I've never had. So, yeah. And as I explained in one of those, another reason why a couple of years ago I started really delving back into old games was because as a kid I was stupid. And when I kind of got out of college, I sold a lot of my games. Had a lot of instant regret about that. And so since then, I've been piecing together my original collection piece by piece. And it was a pretty large collection. Most of it was hand-me-down stuff. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, but I had cousins who did. And so when they would get like when my cousin got the PS2, I remember him giving me his PS1 and all the games. Like, it was amazing. And he had all kinds of stuff. And then same thing, like, I think the only console I ever got on my own or as a gift was the PS2. I got a PS2 for Christmas one year. So I had a lot of PS2 stuff that was my own. But I remember he bought an Xbox that he had for a few years and then didn't really like it, so he gave it to me, like when the 360 came out. So I had an Xbox with a lot of games that I don't have anymore. I actually just, in one of these videos soon, you'll see that I purchased a Xbox, not a new one, but a used one that's in pretty good shape. And I've been piecing together that collection now. That's actually what's in this box. It's a lot of original Xbox games. So just, most of it is piecing together an old collection. And it's either games I had that I regret getting rid of, or games I always wanted but I could never afford because we just didn't have a lot at the time. So yeah, cool. These are some orders from the mail. They're not yard sale pickups or anything like the last couple of videos. These are both from mercari. I've had better luck finding games on mercari than I have eBay. So yeah. These are both from mercari. We'll get with the little box first. Yes, they are open. And the reason I opened these is, and I guess I should explain this. In my normal mail bags, you'll see me, cut open a box and there's a figure or whatever is in there. The reason I don't do that with video games is because I like to check them first. And just make sure everything is in there. I'm a little bit more strict about how I collect video games. They don't have to be in perfect shape, but I do want to make sure that they're working and everything's there. And not so much this one, but in this one, I heard a lot of rattling around. And unfortunately, there was one game that had come off the spool and I don't know, it didn't look like it really got scratched up or anything per se, but it did look like it might have scratched a little bit in the middle. So hopefully no big issues there. But that was the main reason I especially opened this one. And that weirdly happens, I think, a lot when you're collecting video games. If you collect video games, let me know, how often does that happen to you? Where like you get a game in the mail and it's like come off the spool and rattling around in the case, and you just have like that panic moment. I feel like that's happened to me a lot in the past. And it happened with this box. So yeah, that's why I always open them to check them first. But we'll get to the little box right here real quick. The little box is actually packed really cool. I already took the games out to check them and everything, but it was the box, and inside each individual game was in a padded envelope, which I thought was like a really nice way to pack these. So, kudos to the guy I bought it from. I don't remember what his name was, but like, you did excellent on that packing, dude. But I got 3 games from him, an entire set actually. We have the Spyro games. So yeah, pretty simple. Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. These are the only ones I really plan on getting for Spyro. I don't plan on getting any of the other games or the PS2 games or anything like that. But I did want to get the original trilogy. So we got that. There's the first game. I remember when I opened it, one of them kind of came out of the case, so I'm trying to be careful here. There's the second one. Yeah, the third game, the spool is a little loose. It's okay, it's not a big deal. Just gotta be careful when you open it. I never had the original Spyro games. I'd played them, again, as I mentioned before. I had friends, and mainly my cousins, who had a lot of games. I remember they had them. I remember when he gave me his PS1, the Spyro games were not in the giant box of games he gave me. I don't know if he just kept them or what. Neither were the Crash games, and I know he had those. But those were not in that box either. If I remember correctly. But anyways, I did play the Spyro remake or whatever on PS4 and everything. I enjoyed them. I'm not too big on remakes in general. You won't see me buy a remake of a game that often. I really don't like. I prefer always going back and playing whatever the original game is and kind of experiencing it how it was. And that's the main reason why I went back and got these. Yeah, I enjoyed that PS4 remake thing, but I'd much rather, honestly, probably go back and play these. I'm interested to see how they play. I'm sure they're going to be a little bit worse, but like, oh well, you know. Doesn't really bother me much. So we'll put those over here. Now we can get to the big box. I got these out of a lot. The guy was selling like 40 plus games, and I was just kind of going through my checklist of original Xbox games that I still needed or wanted. And he had a lot of them. And I just asked him, I sent him a message on mercari, hey man, do you think you could cut me a deal if I just bundle these games together but not the whole set? And he said, sure. We made a deal. Awesome. Most of them are in pretty good shape. I checked a couple that were pretty scratched up. Nothing crazy, but a lot of light scratching. But they did play, and they booted up and played perfectly fine, so no big issue there. If I ever have to, I'll get them resurfaced or something. But for now, they're pretty good. So far, in the last couple of years, I've only had one game that just outright has trouble playing because of how scratched up it was when I got it. And funny enough, it was in one of the last videos. It was Simpsons Road Rage. It was, like, when I finally checked it, it was really rough, man. And it booted up once and then never booted up again. So, yeah, I'm probably going to buy a new copy of that. I just don't feel like paying to send it and get it resurfaced and paying for shipping back and all that stuff. I don't have a resurfacing machine. I've thought about getting one of those Skip Doctor ones, those little electric ones, just for shits and giggles to see if it actually works. But I'm probably just going to buy a disc-only copy and replace the disc. Either way, let's go ahead and get into this. A lot of games here, so this will be fun. I'm going to put this to the side. First out the gate, we have the original 3 Splinter Cell games. We got Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, Pandora's Tomorrow. I think that's in the wrong order. Oh, maybe not. I feel like Chaos Theory was the third one, though, wasn't it? God, it's been so long since I played Splinter Cell. I did have the Splinter Cell games on the original Xbox. Again, got rid of them. Wanted them again. I only played these three, and then I played Double Agent, and I didn't really like it. I feel like Splinter Cell is one of those games that actually got hurt going into the next generation, like into the 360 PS3 era, and never really recovered. Yeah, I heard horrible things about Blacklist, Splinter Cell Blacklist. Like they switched out Michael Ironside with some other voice actor and just caused all kind of problems. And I played Ghost Recon Wildlands, so I got to play the Splinter Cell mission in there where they brought Michael Ironside back, and it was really cool, and it had a Metal Gear reference. That was really fun. And now I know they're remaking Splinter Cell, and they've already talked about, like, well, we're changing the story to modernize it. You lost my interest right there. You really did. I have no real want to play it. So, yeah, these will be fun to go back to. We got the good disc. We got the cover art. Cover art has a little bit of a wrinkling here. I don't know if that may be water damage or anything, but the disc is pretty good. So, Pandora's Tomorrow. Really good shape. And Chaos Theory, same thing. Really good shape. Oh, the first one's the only one that's in a little bit of a rough spot, but it's really only the cover art. The disc and everything else is fine. Here's a game that I think I showed off in one of the last videos. I got the first one, but this guy had Ghost Recon 2. I like Ghost Recon, again, up to a point. I've only ever played 1 and 2, and then I think I played one of the Future Soldier games. I don't remember which one, though. Maybe, or Advanced Warfighter, whatever it was. Future Soldier, I don't remember. One of the ones on the 360, and I didn't like it. So I prefer just original Ghost Recon 1 and 2. I know the Xbox has some other ones, too. Like some spin-off games. I've never played those, but I might go back and try them out at some point. And then I played Ghost Recon Wildlands, which was fun. To me, Ghost Recon Wildlands was a fun game, but it was not a fun Ghost Recon game, if that makes sense. I think just on its own, it's a good game. I just don't know if I can say it's a good Ghost Recon game. And then I didn't play the new one, Breaking Point or whatever. Breakpoint. I heard really bad things about it, so I just didn't play it. I heard it was pretty trash. I remember my GameStop had that new one discounted just a couple of months later. And as recently as probably the beginning of summer this year, I saw that they were giving it away with X amount of purchases. Like if you spent more than $30, you would get a free copy of that Ghost Recon game. It was pretty wild. Pretty good shape. Got some sticker residue up here, but that's pretty easy to get off. Here's a game that I find vastly underrated. I loved this game as a kid, so to have it again is amazing. Mech Assault. I don't know if there's anything added into the Platinum Hits edition. I know back in the day, Xbox, if a game went Platinum Hits, they would kind of re-release it with some extra content. They did that with Fable. Fable was just the base game, and then the Greatest Hits version, I think, was the Lost Chapters, and they added a bunch of stuff, which is funny because we're going to get to that in a minute. Well, not in a minute. Actually, in a later video. It's not this box. It was a garage sale pickup. I got Fable Lost Chapters. Spoiler alert. But we got Mech Assault. Yeah, Mech Assault is a fantastic game. One of the best mech games on console. I know there's a lot of good ones and underrated hidden gems out there. This is for sure one of them. I really like it. Funny enough, I had again, like I said, I had the original version. I never had the Platinum Hits one. But it's in really good shape. Again, kind of like Splinter Cell down there. The cover art is a little wonky, a little foldy, kind of damaged, almost like water damage. But the disc is really clean, so... there's a second one, too. There's Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. He did not have that one, otherwise I would have bought it, too. So, I'm still looking for Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. Let me see what else we got here. Yes. This is funny. Check this out. It's got an old GameStop sticker. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Tides of War. This is basically just Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Don't let the Tides of War title fool you. that was just their way of branding it on the Xbox. I think the PS2 version actually has a different name too. So there it is. $34.99 used. Whoa. That is not what I paid for this, let me tell you that. I love the Wolfenstein series. Again, kind of up to a point. But for the most part, they've all been pretty decent games. Like, I don't really think there's... Maybe the new one, was it like Youngblood or whatever? Not Youngblood. Yeah, Youngblood. The one that was like a weird livey multiplayer game. It came out after Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Whatever one came out after those, I've heard a lot of people really dunking on that game. But I've liked Wolfenstein pretty much the entire series, so this is pretty cool. I've never actually owned a console version of this game. I've only ever had the PC copy, so I thought it was cool to get a console version. Sorry, I keep getting to kind of show them off here. Yep. Again, I'll probably peel the stickers off, get the residue off, call it good. Here's one, an interesting one. We got a game I owned on the Xbox 360, but went ahead and picked up here on the original Xbox. Call of Duty 3. Kind of random, I know. I love the old Call of Duties. I played Call of Duty 1 and 2 when I was in junior high on the PC for ages. I would play them nonstop. I love the World War II Call of Duty games. I think they're awesome. And I had Call of Duty 3. I think Call of Duty 3 was actually the first one I ever got on console. I bought it when it came out on the 360. It's a game I got rid of, but I went ahead and I got it here on the Xbox. I've heard this version's pretty good too, so I don't mind having it. Keep hitting the box here. Apologies. But yeah, I like those old Call of Duty games. I haven't played a Call of Duty game since, well, Black Ops 3. The one with Christopher Maloney. That was so disappointing because I thought they misused Christopher Maloney. You had Christopher Maloney, who is awesome, and you totally wasted him. I think that's the last one I played. Because I remember playing World at War. I played Modern Warfare 1 through 3. And then I liked the Black Ops series, like the sub-series of Black Ops games. Black Ops 1 and 2 are both great. And then I think I played Black Ops 3 and was just like, the hell is this? And you know what? I don't know. Did Black Ops 3 come out before or after the World War II game? Call of Duty World War II or whatever. Because I played that one too because I thought, oh, they're going back to their roots. And it was okay, but it wasn't great. But I haven't played one since then, so I don't buy them anymore. We got another shooter. Freedom Fighters. I've heard about this game. I've never played it, so interesting to see what it is. Interested to see what it is, I should say. Yeah, it's an EA shooter. I think it's third person. Yeah, it's third person. From the makers of Hitman 2. I could never get into the Hitman games. I know they're really popular, but I never was able to get into the Hitman games. But this game looks cool. I looked it up before I asked the guy to throw it in the bundle. And it had some pretty positive reviews. It seems like it's more of a hidden gem kind of game. Like maybe not a lot of people really played it or something. So I went ahead and I threw it in there. So the next little stack of games, there's 4 more left in this box. 2 of them I had, and no, 3 of them I had. 1 of them I did it before. So yeah, these 3. We'll talk about the 3 I had. Yeah. Okay, first one up, we have Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. I love this game. This game is fantastic. I've never played the old, like, 8-bit or 16-bit Prince of Persia games, whatever they were. I've never played those, but I have played this one a lot. And I played the second one. I think it was Warrior Within. That game blew. I don't know what it was. Like, there's a drastic just shift in that game that I think really hurt that series when they rebooted it. But I remember this one. This is the first one in that kind of rebooted trilogy. And it's amazing. I like it. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. It's a great game. The other 2, not so much. But I do really like this one, so... And then another game, a couple of other games I had. I'll just go ahead and throw both of them in here. Funny enough, I think I showed off one of these in one of the last videos, but on the PS2. But now I have it on Xbox. We have Lord of the Rings and Lord of the Rings Return of the King. For whatever reason, I was having a hard time finding a PS2 copy of the Return of the King. I noticed this guy just had both for the Xbox, so I went ahead and bought them both. Didn't really bother me any. These are not in the greatest of shape, but the discs look good, so I'm okay with it. Yeah, these are fantastic games. They play really well for like third-person action games. And yeah, I think they're a little short. Might be kind of the critical consensus. Very good, but really short. But I mean, for a bargain deal, like, can't really go wrong with them. So, yeah. Let's see. No manual on that one. And no manual on that one. Which he told me beforehand. He was a really good guy. He was the guy who told me these ones. He was like, yeah, these ones got manuals, these ones don't, etc., etc. I was like, cool. The next one, which, based just on when I opened it, I could tell this is an Xbox 360 case, I think. Not an original Xbox case. I might be wrong on that. I don't know. But it's like a lighter green as opposed to like the darker kind of greens. But we got Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. I love the Oddworld games. I really do. I think it's one of the more underrated kind of franchises. I can't say they're perfect or that you should go out of your way to play them, but I think they're highly entertaining, and I really like them. But I never played Munch's Odyssey. I didn't have this one. I think on the Xbox, the one I had was Stranger's Wrath. But I never had Munch's Odyssey. So, yeah. Happy to have it. But yeah, I like the Oddworld games. I have the, well, I don't. I need to go back and get the old ones. But I have a couple of the newer ones that have been released recently. So, and they still hold up. Yeah, there we go. That's it for this video. Those were the kind of internet orders of my recent video game pickups. The next video on video games will be what I found in garage sales and stuff. I was just trying to separate because there was a lot of stuff I got in the last month or so. And I was just trying to separate it for time. And so I figured I'll talk about what I got in the mail and then make a separate video on what I found in yard sales to kind of save on time. But a lot of good pickups, especially Xbox games. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. Then, you know, Spyro over here. But yeah, I like it. Like I said, I ordered me another Xbox, and we're going to kind of start rebuilding that collection now. My PS2 collection is, the main reason why I'm doing it is because my PS2 collection is starting to come around to being close to done. And no, it's not like it's every PS2 game ever released. That's crazy. But most of the games I either wanted or I used to have, I'm coming up pretty close to finishing that. So that's why I've been on such a big Xbox binge. Because now it's like, all right, let's move on to the Xbox and start doing that one. And then PS1 is kind of like every once in a while I'll pick up a couple of those games to throw in there. But you probably won't see as many like old PS1 games just hanging around like you will Xbox or PS2 ones. But that's it. Really good lineup. Splinter Cell, those are fantastic games. I love the original first two Ghost Recons. Mech Assault, I can't say it's a hidden gem because it went platinum hits, but fantastic game. If you've never played it, play it. Play the sequel too. Mech Assault 2, Lone Wolf, great game. Return to Castle Wolfenstein, great. I like Call of Duty on the 360. We're going to find out how it plays on the original Xbox. Never played Freedom Fighter, so interested to see how that goes. Prince of Persia, awesome, but the sequels kind of suck. And the Lord of the Rings games, pretty fun but short. And never played Munch's Odyssey, so that'll be fun. And played the Spyro remakes, but I've never played the original Spyro, so yeah, a lot of interesting stuff here. But that's going to be it for this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to. You do not have to if you do not want to, but I always appreciate anybody who does. So thank you, and I will catch you guys on the next video.